Dante Gabriel Rossetti, born in 1828 to Gabriel Rossetti, a scholar and poet, and Frances Polidori, a governess of Tuscan English heritage, grew up in a notably intellectual and artistic environment. His father, exiled from Italy for his political poems, arrived in England in 1824, marrying Frances 2 years later. The Rossettis had 4 children, with Dante Gabriel being particularly close to his father, who described him as dearly loved above his siblings. The family atmosphere was ripe with creativity, as evidenced by each child's literary or artistic contributions, notably Christina Rossetti's acclaimed poetry. Financial matters were handled with a casualness that Dante Gabriel inherited, preferring to keep funds in a box at home rather than in a bank. Raised bilingual in English and Italian, Dante Gabriel's education was enriched at home with additional languages and a wide range of literature. His early artistic leanings were likely influenced by his father and further fueled by his purchase of a William Blake manuscript, which resonated with Rossetti's budding disdain for conventional art and fascination with mystical themes. Rossetti's religious upbringing was a blend of his father's agnosticism and his mother's Anglican faith, shaping his unique art-Catholic perspective. This blend is evident in his early works, such as The Girlhood of Mary Virgin and Ecce Ancilla Domini, which reflect religious themes through a personal lens. Formal education began at King's College School in 1837, followed by art training at Cary's Academy of Art and then the Royal Academy Schools. Despite his defiant and self-assured demeanor, Rossetti's career path was shaped by a strong will and a desire to excel in his own way, as noted by his brother and his letters expressing a competitive ambition. The death of his father in 1854, after years of deteriorating health, deeply affected Rossetti, leading him to reflect on loss and legacy in his poetry. By 1848, facing the dilemma of choosing between art and literature, Rossetti was encouraged by Leigh Hunt to pursue paintings for financial stability, despite his continued passion for poetry. Thus, Dante Gabriel Rossetti embarked on a life where his artistic and poetic talents intertwined, marked by personal trials, a distinctive disdain for artistic norms, and a relentless ambition that drove him to become a dominant figure in the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood and the broader Victorian cultural landscape. Dante Gabriel Rossetti, driven by a fervent desire to become an artist, found himself navigating the early stages of his education at the Royal Academy Antique School in 1848. The path to becoming a fully trained artist seemed dauntingly long. Rossetti, known for his disinterest in academic routines and frequent absences from class to indulge in poetry and the exploration of old romances and prints at the British Museum, sought a different route to nurture his artistic aspirations. He contemplated an alternative form of education, an apprenticeship in the studio of an artist he admired. Thus, in March 1848, he reached out to Ford Madox Brown, an artist 7 years his senior, through a letter that initially puzzled Brown, leading him to suspect mockery. However, a visit to 50 Charlotte Street revealed Rossetti's genuine admiration, prompting Brown to mentor him without charging for tuition. Brown introduced Rossetti to oil painting with a still life of pickle jars, a task Rossetti found tedious and misaligned with his interests in romantic and literary themes. Despite this, the bond formed with Brown endured, with Brown remaining a lifelong supporter, advisor, and friend to Rossetti. Rossetti's quest for a mentor more aligned with his artistic ambitions led him to William Holman Hunt, a student at the Royal Academy only a year his senior, but considerably more advanced. Hunt agreed to mentor Rossetti, allowing him to choose his subjects and even sharing studio space with him. Hunt played a pivotal role in Rossetti's development as an artist, providing him with meticulous, affectionate guidance and that enabled Rossetti to emerge as a painter by 1849. Hunt and Rossetti's partnership was mutually beneficial, with Hunt gaining from Rossetti's extensive knowledge of European poetic literature and the occasional counsel of Ford Madox Brown. The Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, a term conceived during a critique of Raphael's Transfiguration by Hunt and John Everett Millais, was founded by 7 members: Hunt, Millais, Rossetti, James Collinson, William Rossetti, F. G. Stevens, and Thomas Woolner. The Brotherhood's formation was influenced by Rossetti's fascination with secret societies, aiming to establish a new starting point for art that was sincere and free from decline or conventionality. The Brotherhood's creed, articulated by William Rossetti, emphasized the expression of genuine ideas, attentive study of nature, appreciation for direct and heartfelt art, and the creation of thoroughly good works. Their interests spanned Christian doctrine, contemporary life, and literature, with a focus on moral and spiritual themes as demonstrated in their early paintings. The Pre-Raphaelites also engaged with contemporary social issues as seen in works addressing gambling, marriage for financial or social gain, employment challenges, and prostitution. Their commitment to depicting religious events in a natural, sincere manner was a hallmark of their revolutionary approach, seeking to capture moments of spiritual illumination. In addition to their artistic endeavors, the Pre-Raphaelites were prolific poets and founders of the Germ magazine, which served as a platform for their artistic and literary expressions. Rossetti's trip to the continent in 1849 with Hunt, founded by the sale of their paintings, further influenced his work through the discovery of art that emphasized line, color, and detail, qualities that resonated with the Pre-Raphaelite style. Rossetti's first publicly exhibited Pre-Raphaelite painting, The Girlhood of Mary Virgin, marked a significant milestone in his career. Despite challenges with composition and technique, the painting received acclaim for its pure imitation of early Florentine art and its rich symbolic detail. The purchase of the painting by the Dowager Marchioness of Bath affirmed Rossetti's emerging status as an artist committed to the principles and aspirations of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Dante Gabriel Rossetti embarked on his next significant work, Ecce Ancilla Domini, the Annunciation. In December 1849, this painting presented an untraditional depiction of the Annunciation, where Gabriel, although floating in a circle of flames created using spirits of wine and chloride of something, as described by his brother, appears wingless and notably masculine. The Virgin Mary, portrayed shrinking back on her bed with eyes fixed on the lily, offered by Gabriel, exhibits a sense of intrusion and alarm. The painting predominantly features white, symbolizing Mary's purity and the Incarnation, with accents of blue and red to signify her traditional iconography. The painting's inspiration may stem from Luke 1:29, She was troubled, and visual cues from Sandro Botticelli's Annunciations. The lily, with 2 flowers blooming and 1 bud, symbolizes the Trinity, God and the Holy Spirit manifest, with Christ yet to be born. The work's title, suggesting Mary's submission to God's will, is believed to have been influenced by Dante's Purgatorio from the Divine Comedy, illustrating Mary's pivotal role in divine love. The figures of Virgin Mary and Gabriel were modeled after a combination of individuals, including Rossetti's sister Christina, professional model Miss Love, and male models Madeline, Lambert, and White for Gabriel. William Rossetti and Thomas Woolner also contributed as models for the angel's head. Exhibited at the National Institution in April 1850, Ecce Ancilla Domini faced a mix of hostility and admiration, marking the public's first awareness of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, or PRB. The Illustrated London News' revelation of the PRB's significance led to critical backlash, with some commentators dismissing the group as conceited upstarts. Despite the criticism, the painting was eventually sold to Francis McCracken and, after several transactions, acquired by the Tate Gallery. Rossetti's engagement with Dante's work continued with the first anniversary of the death of Beatrice, depicting Dante memorializing Beatrice. Elizabeth Siddall, whom Rossetti met around 1849 or 1850, modeled for the young woman in this poignant watercolor that captures the interplay of sunlight and vibrant colors within an intimate setting. Found, Rossetti's ambitious but unfinished painting delves into the plight of the fallen woman, a prevalent Victorian theme. Initially conceptualized alongside a poem, the painting explores the tragic fate of a woman forced into prostitution, discovered by her former fiancé. Fanny Cornforth, Rossetti's on and off mistress housekeeper, modeled for the fallen woman, embodying the flesh and blood reality contrasting Rossetti's ethereal artistic musings. Despite their complex relationship, Cornforth played a significant role in Rossetti's life and work, illustrating his compassion for women marginalized by society. Rossetti's compassionate nature extended beyond his art, often demonstrating acts of charity towards women in dire circumstances. His work and personal actions reflected a deep empathy for those ostracized and suffering, highlighting his multifaceted character and the profound emotional depth that informed his artistic and personal endeavors. The Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, an avant-garde art movement founded in 1848 and formally lasting until 1853, stirred the Victorian art world with their revolutionary techniques and subjects, though their collective efforts and influence persisted well beyond those years. This group of young artists, initially comprised of 7 members including Dante Gabriel Rossetti, William Holman Hunt, and John Everett Millais, faced considerable backlash for their rejection of the Royal Academy's conventional teachings, which ultimately impacted their ability to sell their artwork. The harsh criticism they endured was somewhat alleviated when their friend Coventry Patmore successfully enlisted the support of John Ruskin, the era's most esteemed art critic. Ruskin, who had not personally met the artists until 1854, defended their work in strong terms, applauding their dedication to labor and truthfulness in art, and suggesting that their efforts could lay the groundwork for the most noble school of art England had seen in 3 centuries. The Brotherhood began to dissolve as members departed for various reasons. James Collinson left in 1850 due to religious conflicts. Thomas Woolner emigrated to Australia in 1852 in search of gold, and William Holman Hunt embarked on a spiritual and artistic pilgrimage to the Middle East in 1854. John Everett Millais election to the Royal Academy in 1853 represented a divergence in commitment to the Brotherhood's ideals, signaling an acceptance by the very establishment they had critiqued. The Brotherhood, despite these challenges, served as a bastion of mutual support and idealism, valuing sensory experience, spirituality, and moral duty above the materialism pervasive in Victorian society. Their art emphasized craftsmanship, moral values, and a directness of expression that was at odds with the era's norms. Of the founding artists, Millet achieved significant financial success. Hunt also garnered notable earnings from his work, while Rossetti maintained a more modest income, preferring artistic independence over institutional acclaim. Elizabeth Eleanor Siddall, who emerged as a pivotal figure in Rossetti's life, was introduced to the Brotherhood by Walter Deverell. Working as a milliner's assistant, Siddall's striking appearance and unworldly simplicity captivated Rossetti, leading to her becoming his muse and later his wife. Siddall's talent extended beyond modeling to include watercolor painting and poetry, contributing to the Brotherhood's artistic output. Her relationship with Rossetti was complex and deeply intertwined with their creative work, epitomized in John Everett Millet's haunting painting Ophelia, modeled by Siddall, and her own poetry, which reflected a profound sense of identification with the tragic character of Ophelia. The criticism the Brotherhood faced was often harsh and dismissive, yet they found defenders among the more progressive critics of the day. Ruskin's endorsement helped to validate their work, and despite the Brotherhood's official dissolution, the relationships and collaborations formed during this period continued to influence the Victorian art scene. The legacy of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, marked by their rebellion against artistic conventions and their deep commitment to portraying spiritual and moral truths, endures a testament to their vision and collective spirit. In the 1850s, Dante Gabriel Rossetti emerged as a pivotal figure in the most avant-garde movement of Victorian England, the revival of medievalism. This movement, spearheaded by the Pre-Raphaelites alongside luminaries such as Tennyson, sought to rekindle the spirit of the Middle Ages across various domains, including literature, religion, architecture, and the arts. The medieval world they envisioned, albeit a product of the 19th century imagination, offered an escape into the realm where spirituality triumphed over materialism. Collaborative efforts were celebrated amidst the rise of individualism, and a sense of order provided solace in times of social upheaval. Their romanticized view of the Middle Ages shone brightly against the drab backdrop of Victorian society, offering a vision of beauty and grandeur. Rossetti's contributions to this movement were deeply personal, driven by his own romantic yearnings and interpretations rather than historical accuracies. His fascination with the Middle Ages was fueled by a diverse array of sources, ranging from the ancient tales in Sir Thomas Malory's Morte d'Arthur and Dante's seminal works to the contemporary narratives of Sir Walter Scott and poems by Keats, Tennyson, and Browning. This eclectic mix of influences allowed Rossetti to craft vivid representations of love and chivalry that resonated with the Victorian audience. His artistic inspiration also drew heavily from visual sources, including medieval illuminated manuscripts and contemporary paintings. A significant journey through the continent with William Holman Hunt in 1849, alongside extensive research at the British Museum, enriched Rossetti's visual library, enabling him to infuse his works with authenticity and depth. One of Rossetti's notable works from this period, Arthur's Tomb, serves as a testament to his medieval fascination. Inspired by Southey's translation of Malory's work, this piece captures the poignant farewell between Lancelot and Guinevere, adding a dramatic flair with the inclusion of a tomb, a detail absent in the original text. Rossetti's engagement with contemporary art is evident in his Paolo and Francesca di Rimini, which mirrors the composition and themes of William Dyce's painting. This reflection of Dyce's work highlights Rossetti's adeptness at incorporating and transforming the ideas of his peers to suit his medieval vision. His venture into woodcut design, notably for Edward Moxon's illustrated version of Tennyson's poems, was both innovative and fraught with challenges. Despite initial frustrations with the engraving process, Rossetti's contributions, such as The Maids of Elfin Mere, would later influence a generation of artists, including Edward Burne-Jones. His persistence and eventual success in this medium underscored the depth of his commitment to the Pre-Raphaelite ideas. Rossetti's quest for authenticity led him to the British Museum's Lancelot du Lac manuscripts, which inspired his work on The Lady of Shalott and King Arthur and the Weeping Queens. These pieces, rooted in medieval sources, exemplified his dedication to capturing the essence of the chivalric past. Despite the personal tribulations that mirrored the complex love triangles of their medieval counterparts, Rossetti and his Pre-Raphaelite colleagues remained devoted to their artistic quest. Their lives, intertwined with love, betrayal, and passion, reflected the very themes they sought to explore through their art. Rossetti's contribution to the Moxon-Tennyson, although not a commercial success, set a benchmark for artistic excellence and innovation. His illustrations, praised for capturing deep emotions, were seen as embodiments of his own earthly idealism rather than Tennyson's spiritual vision. Despite criticism from contemporaries like John Ruskin, Rossetti's work, especially his depiction of Sir Galahad, showcased his mastery of color and composition, marking a high point in his artistic journey. In retrospect, Rossetti's endeavors in the Moxon-Tennyson project highlighted the missed opportunity to fully align the illustrations with the spirit of Tennyson's poetry. The exclusion of Elizabeth Siddall's work, despite her profound connection to Tennyson's themes, further underscored the limitations of the project. Nonetheless, Rossetti's contribution to the Pre-Raphaelite movement and the Victorian revival of medievalism remain invaluable, bridging the worlds of romantic idealism and historical fantasy. In 1856, a pivotal year for the Pre-Raphaelite movement, a new chapter began. Rooted in the friendship between Edward Coley Burne-Jones and William Morris, who met as undergraduates at Exeter College, Oxford, in 1853. Initially aspiring to the clergy, a transformative visit to the French cathedrals in 1855 shifted their ambitions toward art, deeply inspired by Dante Gabriel Rossetti's watercolor, the first anniversary of the death of Beatrice. This encounter led them to become Rossetti's pupils, making the inception of what some have termed the Second Pre-Raphaelite movement. This encounter led them to become Rossetti's pupils, marking the inception of what some have termed the Second Pre-Raphaelite movement. The collaboration between these artists deepened with a project in 1857 for Oxford's new National Science Museum, creating murals during a period when Rossetti's personal life faced turmoil due to a declining relationship with Elizabeth Siddall. Despite their quarrels and Siddall's departure to Sheffield, Rossetti found solace and distraction in the mural project, engaging a group of artists including Burne-Jones, Morris, and others. However, this ambitious endeavor faced challenges, as the vibrant colors of the mural faded quickly and the project could not be completed within the allotted time. Amidst these professional endeavors, Rossetti's personal life intertwined with the Pre-Raphaelite circle through Jane Burden, who became engaged to Morris. The need for quality medieval furnishings led to the establishment of the firm in January 1861, a collaborative venture producing a wide range of decorative arts, showcasing the group's commitment to integrating art into everyday life. The year 1860 was significant for Rossetti, marrying Elizabeth Siddal after a lengthy engagement, despite her fragile health. This period also saw the creation of Beata Beatrix, a painting reflecting on Siddal's delicate condition and Rossetti's fears for her health. This work marked a departure from the early Pre-Raphaelite style, embracing symbolism over narrative. Tragedy struck in 1862 when Siddal, struggling with her health and addiction to laudanum, died under circumstances leading to speculation about the cause of her death. In a gesture of profound grief, Rossetti buried his poems with her. The loss deeply affected Rossetti, leading to insomnia and a retreat to Tudor House at 16 Cheyne Walk, where he spent the latter 2 decades of his life surrounded by fellow artists. Dante Gabriel Rossetti's life and work were marked by intense relationships, artistic innovation, and personal tragedy. From his early influence on the Pre-Raphaelite movement to his later symbolic works and the establishment of the firm, Rossetti's contribution to art were profound. His personal sorrows, particularly the loss of Elizabeth Siddal, cast a long shadow over his creative output, yet his legacy as a pivotal figure in 19th century art remains undisputed. Dante Gabriel Rossetti's life and artistry were a blend of contrasting qualities and enduring passions that set him apart in the Victorian era. His journey from the innovative foundations of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood to the sensual and introspective later works reflects a life lived with intensity, creativity, and a deep engagement with the aesthetic movements of his time. Rossetti's personal life, with its blend of romantic entanglements and unconventional living arrangements, was as complex and compelling as his art. The presence of women like Elizabeth Siddal, Fanny Cornforth, Alexa Wilding, and Jane Morris in his life and art underscored his fascination with feminine beauty and his pursuit of capturing an idealized form of love and longing. These relationships not only inspired some of his most cherishable works, but also reflected his search for connection and understanding. The acquisition of exotic pets, particularly his fondness for wombats, alongside his choice of living in a Tudor house filled with lavish decor, illustrate Rossetti's eccentricity and his desire to surround himself with beauty and intrigue. These aspects of his personal life added to the mystique surrounding him, making his existence as much a work of art as the paintings and poems he created. His artistic journey was marked by a constant evolution of style, from the detailed realism of his early Pre-Raphaelite works to the more symbolic and emotionally charged later paintings. Rossetti's ability to convey depth of emotion and beauty through his art remained unparalleled, capturing the imagination of both contemporaries and future generations. His late works, in particular, reveal a mastery over his medium, showcasing his ability to depict sensuous immediacy while often challenging Victorian norms and morality. Despite his sensitivity to criticism and his complex relationship with public exhibitions, Rossetti's contributions to the art world were profound. His stance on artists' rights and copyright was ahead of its time, highlighting his understanding of the value of creative control and the protection of artistic expression. Rossetti's legacy is a testament to his unique position within Victorian art and literature. His work continues to be celebrated for its beauty, emotional depth, and innovation. Rossetti was not just a painter and a poet. He was a visionary who explored the depths of human emotion and the complexities of beauty, leaving behind a body of work that remains vibrant and relevant. Through his art, Rossetti invites us into a world where the past and present merge, where beauty transcends time and where the depth of human emotion is explored with both passion and tenderness.